everyone, and welcome to Into the Spotlight. This is your host, OsakaJack, and with me today, I have a very special guest. Would you sign in, please?
Yes, hello. My name is Amy Keating Rogers.
How about that? And this is not a coincidence. This is not some artist that I found that has the same name. This is well, for anybody who doesn't know who you are, honestly, why are you listening to my show? But could you give them a quick intro? What do you do?
Yes. I was a writer on seasons 1 and 2 of My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic.
But that's not even a sliver of your incredibly long career here. Not long career. I'm sorry. That's offensive.
That's okay.
Proliferous. That's a better word.
Okay. I
No.
was not offended.
Oh, thank goodness. But no, you've worked on and continue to work on just a plethora of shows.
Yeah, I've been really fortunate in on the shows that I've worked on. I ended up as a production assistant on Powerpuff Girls,
Hmm.
um, and they needed help with the writing. And I started as a playwright, and I had a play being produced in Hollywood at the time, so they knew I was a writer. And the way Cartoon Network worked then, the writers were in house, and then we kind of got the writers and the storyboard artists and the character designers and the cleanup artists. Everybody moved from show to show. It was
Okay.
lovely, wonderful, and basically you had this family,
Right. Right.
family. And so I got passed from Powerpuff Girls to Dexter's Lab to Samurai Jack to Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, and I ended up doing little freelance things for Johnny Bravo, and I even wrote a Billy and Mandy outline. So you get,
I think you've just described the childhood of most of the people that are listening right now. You have
yeah,
been their childhood. I mean, that's
which is I'm honored.
yeah.
I'm glad to have been a part of it. And with Powerpuff, I was so lucky. It exploded in a way that none of us ever expected, which
Oh wow.
um,
Okay.
I is reflected for me. Since I had this experience again, I'm gonna apologize for the mowing in the background. My gardeners are here.
It adds character. It shows
It
this is not rehearsed. This is
it's not, and
live gardening along with an
shows,
interview.
it shows how forgetful I am because this happens every week. So you think I would actually know that this is when this would happen. Um, but on Powerpuff, it became this, cultural phenomenon, and it was all over on T-shirts, and we ended up getting to write books and comics.
Oh yeah.
And because Craig trusted me with the characters, I was the first person who got to write chapter books
Oh wow.
for the show. I kind of established this is how chapter books will work,
Right.
and same thing with the comics. And then it could once I wrote a couple, it could be then passed on to other writers
Mm.
who basically follow what I set up, follow my lead of the voices. I got
Right.
anytime the Powerpuff Girls were interviewed in a magazine,
Uh-huh.
I was the one writing their dialogue,
Oh
what they
wow. Okay.
magazine. That was I got to write that, and I feel really, really fortunate.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I knew the Powerpuff Girls, and I probably do. You tapped into my brain really well.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
sure.
so it was a fantastic first place
Oh yeah.
start because I never expected to write in animation. That wasn't an aspiration I
What
had.
was the original goal when you were
Oh,
studying?
original was to be an actor.
Okay.
That's what I acted in high school. And then I went to college at Occidental College and studied theater, and then I went to graduate school at Cal Arts and got my MFA in acting. And ever since I was a little girl, I wanted to act.
Hmm.
So that's what my focus was. But then I started writing plays at the end of college and continued in graduate school.
Mm.
Um, and I was also trying to act, but acting in Los Angeles is challenging. And
I'm sure, yeah.
yeah, I could do plays, but plays don't pay a lot of money.
Right. Right.
And I wasn't getting commercials or TV stuff or anything like that.
And it's
So
kind of a catch-22, isn't it? Because you have to live in Los Angeles to get the parts, but living in Los Angeles is so expensive, you have to have parts to pay for it.
right, exactly. So
Yeah.
I had this as an actor, you end up getting kind of random odd jobs.
Hmm.
And I have a friend who said, "Hey, do you want to be a PA on?" My first production assistant job was on Johnny Bravo,
Okay.
and prior to that, when she asked me that, I was working as an operator at 1-800-Dentist, which is a service here in America that refers people to dentists. So you call a call center and you say, "I need a dentist in Spokane, Washington," and
Okay.
go on your computer and you try and find somebody a dentist in Spokane, Washington. And I was getting burnt out on that job.
Sure. I mean, it sounds useful, but not very fulfilling.
Well, it's just, people who are calling generally are in dental pain.
Yeah.
So, they're not in a good mood. Um, so that's the problem. And then people often used our 1-800 line as a 1-900 line and would say inappropriate things to the operators. So it began to wear on you being
Sure. Sure.
that way. So that was a bit of a drag. So when the opportunity came up to work on Johnny Bravo, I
Mhm.
jumped out. And
Yeah,
then,
of course.
yeah, and then the and then Powerpuff came along after that, and I moved on to that show, and it was a very wise choice.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I'm curious. It sounds like Cartoon Network at that time, you mentioned everybody would shift and go from one show to the other show to the. Did you ever get confused? Like at one point, you'd be writing for Foster's, and you're like, "Wait, no, no, that's something Bubbles would say, not."
No, not really.
Oh,
Just because all those shows were so distinctive.
okay,
Um,
okay.
so and we wrote them at different. It was that we wrote Powerpuff Girls, and then that uh, season ended, and while it was being decided to move on to a second season,
Hmm.
you do another thing. So you were just kind of going back and forth to
Okay.
different things. It was generally, there was only one time I was writing uh, on Johnny Bravo and Foster's. Um, and I think I was trying to work on Powerpuff too, and I was pregnant.
Oh
And so
my gosh.
I had to go, okay, somebody else do Powerpuff. And, it was, there's a point where you're doing too much.
Yes,
Um,
yes.
but I wasn't confused between the characters. It was just a whole lot of characters, a
Right,
whole lot
right.
more. Yeah.
And from that work on Cartoon Network, you got 5 Emmy nominations.
Yeah. Yeah, the shows I worked on were really good.
Mhm.
And the crews behind them, and, everybody worked so incredibly hard and to make those shows really, really awesome.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So yeah, the shows that I was nominated for, the whole show was nominated.
Wow.
Um, so it was, absolutely wonderful to be a part of that.
Yeah, and we mentioned this a little bit before we started, but the hope is, the hope is that some of the songs from My Little Pony will get to the nominations.
Yeah, I hope the songs do, or I hope an episode does. Again, okay, sorry, leaf blower. Uh, Absolutely. I hope that we get acknowledged. I mean, it was great. I think we had 2 Emmy nominations last year for songs.
Mm.
And I forget if we had anything else nominated. You would probably know better than me.
Oh,
Um,
you caught me. I don't remember off the top of my head. I'm sorry.
I know Megan was nominated, and I know Charlotte was nominated for their songs, and of course Daniel Ingram
Right,
doing the music.
right, right.
Um, so yeah, I think it would be great if any of us got nominated again. Just because as the songs are awesome in
They
that show,
they are, yeah.
and and everybody enjoys the episodes and loves the writing
Mm.
and how they and all that stuff. So I hope we do get that kind of acknowledgement.
That would be nice. And you did work on, I'm sorry, one of the most easily identifiable songs is the one that you wrote, Smile Song.
Yes, I did.
And I I do hope everybody listening has heard your original rendition of them, because I remember back in the day before BronyCon, I remember you mentioned it on Twitter, and I went nuts on you, and I
Oh, yeah.
apologize for that.
No, that's okay. Yeah, you said you said ask her to sing it, which is why I very purposely for BronyCon brought my lyrics.
I remember watching it on the live stream.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
like 3 or 4 in the morning for me, but I was like, "Oh, I got to stay up and hear this. I've got to hear this."
Yeah, that was very nerve-wracking to sing that in front of everybody, but a lot of fun, and I'm glad
Oh yeah.
people enjoyed it. And as I've said, I always do a version of my song, and I actually found out that Cindy Morrow does the same thing. Um,
Really? Oh,
yeah,
now we have something to bug Cindy about. Ha 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 ha.
yeah, that she has her own versions, and she's so talented. She actually plays the piano
Mm.
and is, I just make up tunes and I don't have any sort of accompaniment or anything like that. I just wing it and sing it a cappella. But Cindy, I don't know what her recordings sound like because I've never heard them, but I think she does a similar thing to what I do. That's how she writes music as well. Yeah, I
I
think.
can envision just a original track recording being released at some point. Just
Yeah.
you and her, just anybody who wrote a song. Heck, we'll even get M.A. Larson to release the original Super Speedy Cider Squeezy
Oh
6000.
my gosh, that would be. Yeah, I know he doesn't record things, uh, and that's totally just different ways of working.
Mhm,
As
mhm.
long as you develop some sort of rhythm for it that Daniel can then riff off of
Yeah,
and shape a write a song and everything, then you're good.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, and I think you guys did wonderful work on that. Honestly, guys, if you haven't heard it, go check the archives. It's in there. She's she's sung these before, and they sound awesome. And I do think it was Midwestria. That's right. After Midwestria, there are some videos online of karaoke.
Yes, there are. I love to sing.
Mm,
When I was in high school, I always did musicals. I used to sing in a restaurant. Again, something I did just to make some money.
right.
Um, and as I've taken on writing instead of acting, my all that other stuff has kind of fallen by the wayside. Even though
Mm,
I um, love to sing, and my
right.
daughter sings, and she takes lessons now, and I kind of toy with the idea of taking lessons again too because I enjoy it so much.
Well,
Um,
sure.
but then my husband gave me a ukulele for my birthday, and that has encouraged me to do more singing. I mean,
Mhm,
I would sing song, and when I was writing songs, obviously for shows, I would sing them, but
mhm.
otherwise, I don't just go. I mean, I do kind of sing around the house,
Right,
but
right.
in learning the ukulele, I have been singing along as I play my ukulele, so it
Oh, okay.
awakened that joy for me
Well,
of
sure.
again. So I did a rendition of the original, my original My Little Pony theme song at Canterlot Gardens.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, playing my ukulele
Mhm.
and singing it. And considering my ukulele skills, I don't. Maybe I should have sung it a cappella that time too.
No, I'm sure it was wonderful. I guarantee you, everybody just went nuts on that.
Yeah, it was very fun to sing for everybody, but
Oh,
that
sure.
one was even scarier because not only was I singing, I was playing the ukulele, which I have not mastered. But
Well,
that's
I
okay.
heard somebody say at one point that they never considered themselves to be learning how to play the violin
Mm-hmm.
because what is the exact point when you go from learning to play and playing?
Mm-hmm.
They said, I'm playing the violin, I'm just not playing it very well yet.
Yes, that is me in the ukulele.
And honestly, those the karaoke videos from Midwestria, you nailed Summer Lovin'.
Thank you
Even
again.
the last high note. Nights. You got it.
Thank you. Yes, my musical theater background uh, comes into play. Yeah, that was very fun to sing with Mitch. And singing "I Will Survive" is one of my favorite songs to sing
Mm,
doing karaoke. So that was fun too, and just getting to see everybody, all the the fans singing.
Yeah. Well, and you
And
did the absolute ultimate crowd pleaser of all time, which is "Don't Stop Believing."
Don't Stop Believing. Yes. And I was going to sing it, and I didn't know that these other uh, guys had signed up for it too. So
Ah,
they called all three of our names, and the three of us went up there. And then, was it just three of us that sang that, or was that when everybody
the
came up on?
video, the one that I saw online has a whole crowd up there.
So I think everybody just said, "Hey, we all want to sing it," and everybody came
Oh
up
yeah,
on the stage, which was fantastic.
oh yeah, you guys rocked it. It was amazing.
Yeah, I love I that again. That's another song that I always love singing in karaoke, and
I think
uh,
it's required to sing that in karaoke. I don't think they let you leave until it has been sung once.
yes, and I didn't realize that it was so popular. It's just a song that I grew up loving.
Really?
Uh,
Oh my goodness.
yeah,
Okay.
oh yeah, I had the Journey Escape album when I
Mhm.
was young, um, and that was a favorite. So
Oh.
I've been singing that for a long time.
Well, related to the ukulele,
Yeah,
there is a way right now for people to get you to play them a ukulele song, isn't there?
there
Very roundabout segue there.
that was, but I like it.
Oh, yay.
And you can see me play the ukulele
Yes, that's right.
if you go to my Kickstarter
Hmm.
page, and or if you go to Kickstarter in general and put in Jason Bateman Thinks I'm Dead, you will land in this strange place where there's a video of me singing a snippet of my Jason Bateman Thinks I'm Dead song on the ukulele,
Hmm.
which is amusing in itself that I figured out how to do that. Well, that the like three chords that I happen to work with my Jason Bateman Thinks I'm Dead song.
Hey, don't knock three chords. The entire song of "Don't Stop Believing" is four chords, so you just need one more and you've got it.
Okay, well, I think I actually have four chords down, and so I
Awesome.
might be able to play "Don't Stop Believing" on my ukulele, and that might be a goal for this afternoon. Um,
Awesome.
so, but my Jason Bateman Thinks I'm Dead project is that back in 2008, I had, well, let me rewind way earlier.
Okay,
Back
going back.
back when I was a child, I went to grade school with Jason Bateman, who at that time was just a boy I went to grade school with.
Right.
And then, oh, it's ridiculous. Um, and so we started going to school together in second grade. And then in third grade, he decided that I was one of his girlfriends.
Yay.
And we kissed.
Yoo-hoo.
But then in fourth grade, it seemed like the fire had gone out, and he had moved on. I was brokenhearted by this,
Of course.
and I actually wrote him a song called "Think of the World"
Oh.
and sang it at a school assembly. And he didn't know it was dedicated to him, but
Mm-mm.
and I also don't know how I convinced the faculty and administration of my elementary school to let me sing at this thing. I have no, it's like it was just I was a very I guess I'm more like my daughter than I realized. Um, because I just kind of went there and I said I'd like to sing this song, and they said okay. And I played it on the piano and I sang the song. And that was just me bemoaning this ended relationship,
Hmm. Hmm.
um, you know, as fourth graders do.
Yes.
And then in fifth grade, during my fifth grade year, I had terrible headaches.
Mm.
And the summer between fifth and sixth grade, they discovered that I had a brain tumor in my
Oh,
head.
jeez. Oh,
Yeah,
that's awful.
it was very awful. It was
Yeah.
not a good time. And I had the tumor removed right before school began, right before sixth grade. And when I came back to school,
Mm.
Jason wasn't at school anymore because he began his acting career. He
Oh, okay.
had a show called Little House on the Prairie.
Right. Yes.
So I didn't see Jason, and I just was going to school. And then this one day, there was a phone call at my house, and I answered the phone, and it was Jason, and he said,
Whoa.
"Hey, this is Jason Bateman. I heard you were dead." No, I'm dead. Uh, uh, had a brain tumor and it was benign, and I explained the whole thing to him.
Hmm.
And that was kind of the end of the conversation. Glad that I was alive, and we continued on. And then I didn't see him again till we were 14.
Hmm.
And I was at it was something at something called the Youth and Film Awards, and he was there because he was nominated for being Derek on Silver Spoons,
Right.
and
Hmm.
I was there with my friends because we wanted to see cute famous guys. We were trying to get pictures with C. Thomas Howell
Hmm.
and Ricky Schroeder,
Of course.
whoever. And I saw Jason there because he was nominated, and I know Jason, so I went up to
Hmm.
Jason and I said, "Hey, Jason, it's Amy Keating." And he said, "Oh my God, I thought you were dead." He just looked at me, ghost white and stunned. And I said, "No, Jason, I told you, remember, I'm not dead." And, that was the end of that conversation.
I'm sure for anybody just watching on the side, if they couldn't hear specifically what was saying, just that girl just said 3 words to him and he turned ghost white. What did she say?
That girl. So then fast forward to 2008, and I was just kind of thinking funny thoughts.
Hmm.
And I thought, I wonder if Jason, who, even though we both work in the industry,
Hmm.
over all these years, we have not run into each other.
Hmm.
So I thought, I wonder if Jason still thinks I'm dead. So I asked my husband, I said, what do you think if I, made a documentary of me trying to find Jason and tell him that I'm not dead? And he thought it was hilarious.
Oh yeah.
Um, so we didn't even have a video camera at that time. So we bought a video camera, and I just started shooting video of this,
Hmm.
of me trying the different ways,
Hmm.
trying to find Jason through 6 Degrees of Jason Bateman
Right.
and tell him that I am not dead. So I made the movie, and so I shot it and I edited it, and I had never edited a movie before, so I had to learn how to edit in Final Cut, and I did that. And but the way I edited it, I used all these images from movies that he's been in,
Okay.
things that I've done, because I kind of did a recap of, let me tell you what Jason and I are doing the past, chunk of years.
Right. Right.
And so I go through our careers, and I use all these images that I don't have the rights for.
Oh, I see.
And, and I also used music.
Mm.
So for each uh, kind of time blah, 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 period from when I was uh, when I was in grade school and when I
Hmm.
was 14, each of those has background music according to the time period. So I think there's a Bee Gees song, and
Oh,
there's a
nice.
song. And again, I don't have the rights to these. So,
Ye-
so the Kickstarter campaign
Mhm.
uh, is to finally, even though the movie is finished,
Mhm.
to go through and get the rights for these things. And
Mhm.
if you're actually um, trying to get a movie out there, you have to pay for insurance so that somebody doesn't come and sue you.
Right. Okay.
You have to hire various people to get all these clearances. I have over 100 images
Wow.
that I cleared. I would hire somebody to do that because
Mhm.
I did, do my day job.
Right.
Somebody to clear the music. So it's just going through all of that, and so that's what the Kickstarter campaign is about.
Mhm. Mhm. Because I think you mentioned that you did do a private screening for a few friends, which is allowed. Is allowed. I mean, private showing.
Yeah, if you do screenings, it's fine as long as you're not charging any
Yes.
uh, fee. So I've done a couple screenings for
Mhm.
friends, and everybody loves it. And I tried to get distribution, and while everybody who saw it thought it was adorable, they didn't think that they could make any money on it, which means
Yeah.
it get distributed. Um, so, as you mentioned, ukulele song,
Mm.
one, one of the in Kickstarter incentives is for me to record one of my ukulele songs, one that's in my repertoire. And then there's another incentive for one that I would write you a little thank you song and sing it on my ukulele.
Yes.
So, and currently I
Mm.
have 117 backers,
Hmm.
and I'm almost at $6,000. I'm at 5,915.
Which,
Uh,
I mean, that's no small chunk of change,
I,
but
I need 80,000.
yeah, but we need 80,000. So,
And I have 17 days to go.
mm,
Um, so I'm I'm hopeful that I will get the money, but if I don't, I'm going to find another way because I know um, folks do want to see it. So
that's great of you. That's something I was honestly not going to specifically ask. But yeah, good for you for not giving up. Because I know it's got to be hard if you. I mean, this still has a chance. We're going to push this. Everybody, seriously. I'll talk about nothing for like 30 seconds. Everybody, go click the link, get to the Kickstarter page, and donate something. Come on back. You won't miss anything. Uh, okay, maybe not, but
no, it would be fantastic if everybody could do that,
yeah,
and no amount is too small besides zero. I guess that's too small.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. And I think the minimum is $1 that they'll allow.
Minimum
No,
$1, but you could get great things like T-shirts and copies of the DVD and signed
sure.
stuff from me, and like I said, the recordings of the songs. You can have lunch with me if you have a lot of money. You can have dinner with me if you have even more money. So yeah, all of that would be fantastic, and then I could kind of distribute it in a big way. Um, and that would be really neat to kind of
Oh
bring
yeah.
this to a conclusion of getting it out there.
Well, sure. Though, to be honest, I mean, if it continues to be a challenge, you could at someday make another movie about the challenges of getting Jason Bateman Thinks I'm Dead recorded and distributed.
Yes, I could do that. um I don't know, my poor family has been living that in real life, so I don't know if they need me actually making a documentary about that. Like, enough, Amy, move on. So,
Yeah, but
but
everybody, seriously, do click on the link. We'll have it right underneath the video. Go check it out. Pledge $1. Pledge whatever you got in your pocket. It'd be really awesome to see this movie get out there.
yes, please, thank you so much.
And there's lots of interesting little things that you could have her do a song for you. I mean, come on, how cool is that? Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but you haven't written a song for somebody since the piano performance for Jason Bateman. Is that right?
A song for
Yeah,
somebody? No.
specifically for somebody.
I have written, as you know, I've written songs,
Well, yeah.
but I have not written a song for somebody.
Okay.
Only Jason Bateman.
There you go. You could be in some of the most elite club in the world. Yeah, she's written a song for Jason Bateman and me,
And me.
and that's it.
Exactly.
Well, and the other guy who donated too. But
Right. And it might not be as complex as my Jason Bateman heartfelt, painful fourth
right,
grade
right, probably
love,
not.
but it'll still be very nice.
Sure.
And it'll be equally heartfelt, saying thanks.
Well, it'll be
Uh,
a completely different emotion. This won't be a terribly sorry that things didn't work out. This will be a thank you so much for donating type song.
and you get to hear that song in the movie.
Oh,
Uh,
awesome.
yeah, there's so much goofy stuff in this movie. Just, I think I have a very goofy brain, and I make a real fool of myself a lot of times throughout this movie. My heart is broken. My
Oh,
hopes are dashed.
oh,
It's a roller coaster, but it's a lot of fun, um, and it ends on an uplifting note. So
oh, goody.
that's good.
But we won't spoil the ending, so
No.
we got to get this released to get the full ending out, guys. Come on now, come on. I haven't heard any specific reviews, but I have heard general reviews in positive for the film.
Okay, well, good. I'm
That's
glad
I'd like to see it, frankly. I really would.
you
Now,
would enjoy
do you? Now, this is just nothing that anybody's going to hold you to. But
it.
should this get funded, do you think you'd be willing to screen it at an upcoming con?
I would definitely do that.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
because
yeah.
once it's all legal and
Hmm.
all that stuff, then I'm allowed to.
Oh, awesome.
Right, because it's, you're paying for the rights for the songs and
Right.
you're paying for the rights for the images, and
Mhm.
that's what's actually, I forget if you brought it up or one of the bronies brought up, that I should show it at a con. But again, the problem is, then somebody, I knew none of my friends would videotape it when they saw the screening and put it
Right.
online.
Yeah.
but there's I as somebody might do that. There's that,
Yes. Yes.
and then it's just a matter of I don't want to get in trouble, and
Right.
so.
Yeah.
But once it was all cleared and all that, that's the whole thing. That's what the money
Mm-hmm.
went on, and so and since bronies are the ones contributing, I'd be happy to show it at a con because I think folks would really dig it.
Ooh, that'd be awesome. Okay, guys, come on, let's really push this through. We want to see it at an upcoming con. That'd be so awesome. Now you just finished EQLA. You just went to that
Yes.
one, and
Mhm.
that's your fourth con, right?
Yes, it is.
It's a BronyCon, Midwestria, Candlelight Gardens, and now EQLA.
Yes,
Oh, you're becoming a pro at cons.
I am. It's been a lot of fun, and every one of them has been so different
Mm,
and unique. Certainly, BronyCon, since it was the first, was very overwhelming and exciting.
hmm
And it was very cool it being the first. And there was the fire during the writers' panel, so
Yep.
that was extra exciting. Midwestria was completely different in that BronyCon had 5,000 people there, and Midwestria I think had 200 to 500 maybe.
It was
So
definitely smaller, a more personal
yeah,
venue. Yeah.
yeah, much more personal and mellow, and it was whereas BronyCon, Lauren was there, Tara was there, John Delancey was there.
Yeah.
So you had these big names there at Midwestria. It was me and Mitch and Charlotte
hmm
Fullerton. So,
Which, to be honest, in the Brony community, those are pretty big names in of themselves.
which is very no, it's just funny, and so it was much more. It was like I keep saying. I've said this to Mitch a couple times. It was like being at camp because you saw the same people so much, you
hmm
got familiar with them, and it was like you were just kind of hanging out with them.
Right.
And that was really, really lovely. I made a lot of nice friends there. And
That's awesome.
and then in Canterlot Gardens, it was big again,
hmm
but you know, because of its proximity to so Cleveland was
hmm
where Canterlot Gardens was, and
Yes.
Chicago was where Midwestria was. Some people came to both.
Right.
So and that's the cool thing. I'm beginning to see the same faces and recognize
Mm-mm-mm.
faces, and that's really nice. And that happened again at Equestria LA. Some
hmm
people who've been at BronyCon were at Equestria LA. I've hung out with Final Draft now at all four cons, and we and lunch in Chicago. We went to this place, Portillo's. The
Oh,
sauce.
yes.
Oh my gosh, it was so good.
hmm
Um, and I became friends with this lovely young woman named Hannah.
hmm
She's what's her? I forget what her handle is on Twitter. It's Hollywood Gem.
Hollywood Gem, yes.
She was at Midwestria, and she was at Canterlot Gardens. So you get to hang out with these people and get to know them,
Yeah.
and that was really, really, really fun. And Equestria LA was great because I didn't have to fly anywhere.
That would be a big advantage, I'm sure.
Just got to drive to Anaheim and hang out with everyone. So that was cool.
That's awesome. So, okay, if you could choose a new venue, where would you like to see a BronyCon at?
Oh
I mean,
gosh.
Anaheim obviously has a good priority for you because it's so close. You can drive. You don't have to fly. But
Right. I would love if it could coincide um, with where I have family. So I
oh yeah,
so
that's good.
well, and that was the drag about I didn't get to go to Everfree,
Mm.
and I have family who live outside Seattle, and I really wanted my in-laws to see what this is all about
Oh
because
yeah,
it's very hard to describe to somebody who hasn't been a part of this what's going on with the bronies and everything.
very true, very true.
So I would love to go to Everfree Northwest, hint hint. Um,
Actually,
and
Everfree Northwest is the only con I'm going to be able to attend next year.
oh wow,
So, I,
maybe we both will. We'll see what
we
happens.
can hope. We can hope.
And I mean, I have. Have there been any cons in like the Phoenix area, Arizona?
I'm not sure that some people have just posted a list. There's, I think, 30 cons next year that have
Wowza.
been confirmed. I'm not sure if there's any in the Phoenix area, but that would be interesting.
Yeah.
Possibly not in the dead heat of summer.
Oh no, that would be terrible. That would be really bad. Or San Antonio.
Ooh.
I've never been to Austin. I'm trying to think of places. But that's the funny thing. The only one I actually got to kind of check out the surrounding area was when I went to BronyCon because my daughter and I went in a day early and we did the fastest tour of Manhattan ever. Uh, Especially considering it was blazing hot and humid and blah.
I
But
remember those.
we went and saw a Broadway show, and we did it up as much as we could in the amount of time that we had. But I didn't get to check out Chicago, and that was a bummer, but it was just not in my schedule to fly
Right.
in a day ahead and check things out again.
Sure,
So,
sure.
so that's why LA is great, but wherever.
I do remember BronyCon. I remember on your Twitter handle, you actually passed the phone off to your daughter, and she
I
was doing Twitters, and we were all, and well, I don't know. I say we. I was definitely watching it, and a few others were, and she
mhm.
was like live tweeting your reactions to things.
Yes, she was. Yeah, she did a very good job taking things over, and she has
Oh
a
yeah.
very good sense of humor. And yeah, when we drove up to the BronyCon venue, which was this big convention center in Secaucus, New Jersey,
Hmm.
it was just mind-boggling how many fans were there, and my jaw dropped, and she took a picture of me with my jaw dropped and of the fans at the window, and that was pretty phenomenal.
I remember that picture. That was hilarious. That was one of the best reaction shots I've ever seen.
Thank you. Yeah, and she did non pony related things, mocking how fast I walk, as we were walking through LA, because I was trying to get like from point A to point B, because point A had air conditioning and point B had air conditioning, so I was
Mhm.
like, let's move it. But I want to walk fast. I walk fast, and she's got shorter legs, and I'm short, but she has shorter legs, and she was we're both dying from the heat,
Oh yeah.
so she was mocking me a lot, which was deserved, I guess.
It's a sign of a good relationship that people can mock each other and not be truly offended. And of course, I'd like to mention again: are you anticipating karaoke in future cons? Because
Um,
you rocked it in the videos that I saw.
Thank you. I would be happy to always sing.
Awesome.
That's never a question for me. It's just, I don't want to be a stage hog. It's more like, okay, give somebody else a turn, Amy. Um, yeah, I
No,
would
I think honestly at these cons they're like, let her talk more, guys.
no, yeah, I would absolutely do that again. That was very fun.
Awesome. Well, and we mentioned shows that you worked on in the past, but right now you are working on Care Bears and Littlest Pet Shop. Is that right?
Oh, I'm not on Littlest Pet
Oh
Shop.
gosh,
That's okay. It would make sense for me to be on Littlest Pet Shop. I did do some Littlest Pet Shop webisodes, so maybe that's why you
that's what
got
I'm thinking of. Okay, it was the webisodes that confused me. I apologize. Not the show, the webisodes.
yeah, I did the webisodes. I wrote one of the songs in the webisodes. The was that Meow Manor? Yeah, Meow Manor is the
Okay.
song. And yes, I was the story editor of the new Care Bears show, Care
Woo.
Bears Welcome to Care-a-Lot. Woohoo!
Yay!
Yay, Care Bears.
I admit, ashamedly, I have not watched as much of the new Care Bears. It is harder for me to watch the shows as they come out, but from what I've seen, it's incredibly cute.
It's a very cute show.
Yeah.
They've done a really nice job with it. The texture of the fur on the bears is really cool.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, I got to work with Cindy Morrow was one of my writers. And then actually a writer who is on season 3,
Hmm.
Pony,
Oh.
wrote on Care Bears
Oh.
with me,
Okay.
and her episodes haven't her season 3 episodes haven't aired yet,
Right.
so y'all don't know her yet. Uh,
Ooh. Look forward to it.
Yeah,
We'll
I
have
posted.
someone new we can bronify with love.
Yes, because I actually, when I always do a shout out to my writers when I post a clip of
Hmm.
the Care Bears episode that's going to be on, and I give a shout out, and she's not actually on Twitter, so I
Oh.
just put her real name,
Mm.
and I told the bronies to pay attention to that name because it might become familiar to them soon. So
Ooh.
yeah, so you will see. I don't know when her name's Corey Powell. It's not that big of a mystery, but
Okay. I didn't know if we had to dance around it anymore or just say it, but okay, okay.
I'm dancing around it. She wrote an episode. She's written a couple of the Care Bears. I forget how many Care Bears she wrote. She wrote like 4 or 5 or something,
Wow.
and I don't know how many pony episodes she wrote.
Hmm.
But she's terrific. Um, but yeah, I got to work with really great writers, and it was nice. The all of the voiceover stuff, whereas Pony's done in Canada,
Right.
the voiceover recordings for Care Bears was here in LA.
Okay.
So my favorite days of the week was Tuesdays when I got to go to the recording and hear the actors, read the stuff,
Hmm.
and we have a really fantastic cast uh,
Hmm.
playing the bears, and so that was really fun to be in there, and as you go in there and sometimes lines just don't work. They look
Right.
fantastic on the page,
Sure,
but
sure.
comes out of somebody's mouth that just sounds ridiculous or clumsy.
Right.
So I would be in.
And I would guess, at least at some point, the as good as they are, the actor might not get what you intended by it.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I just don't. Why do you have this phrasing here or something? And
right,
I guess it would be advantageous for you to be right there and said, well, I kind of meant it like accent this word.
exactly. And I actually, there were things that were often funny to me that weren't funny to because what's have you seen the movie Winnebago Man?
I have not, but now I will
Okay.
look for it.
It's a documentary,
Okay.
and it's hilarious. And there's a line in it that's become like a line that's known. He says, "Will you do me a kindness?"
Ah, okay.
And I'm pretty sure I had Grumpy say that. Will you do me a kindness? And nobody got it. I'm like, did you see Winnebago Man? So we ended up changing it to, will you give me some help? Or something.
Oh, okay.
And I didn't know which way they went with it. The episode actually aired this week. I said, oh, did they put do me a kindness? And it was like, no. And it was an inside joke for me. That's the only person it was for. So I understand that they, chose the line reading that wouldn't confuse children. So that's that's how you got to go.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. Sometimes it's too vague of a reference, and that's
right.
unfortunate.
So it's so inside that it just flies over everybody's head. So, oh well.
Well, one question that I tend to ask all of my guests, and I'm curious, is yours is going to be slightly different, but in all of My Little Pony, is there one scene or line that defines you?
Hmm.
And you have special insight into this, having written a large number of these lines.
Yeah, I mean, so many of Applejack's lines actually are things that I say.
Hmm. Hmm.
So she says, and everybody, this gets misquoted. She says nuts and chews, CHEWS, choose, nuts and chews, which
Ah,
is something that I say, which is based off of a box of C's candy.
okay,
Um,
okay.
because there are boxes of C's candy that are nuts and chews. They have either nuts or they're chewy, so they're nuts and chews.
Oh, okay, all right.
Right. And my dad used to get lots of boxes of C's candy at Christmas time because he's an ophthalmologist and his patients would give him boxes of C's candy.
Okay, okay.
So we had boxes and boxes at Christmas time of nuts and chews. And so it's just something that's always been in my head. And I always thought it's an amusing non curse word.
Hmm. Hmm.
And say it, and you're not really saying anything bad,
Right, right.
but you say it. I don't know. There are things that Applejack has said that I don't know whether some of them got in and some of them didn't.
Right.
I
Of
don't
course.
know, and a lot of them are I Love Lucyisms,
Sure.
things that I've stolen from I Love Lucy. So, like, here's your hat, what's your hurry?
Hmm.
Is some
Hmm.
know if Applejack's actually said that, but I know I've tried to make her say that. And what's one of her other ones? Oh, I'm not thinking of it. Uh, nuts and chews. Uh,
I like that one, frankly. That sounds good.
nuts and chews. I mean, that's
Honestly, just hearing it, you say it at first, I thought it was nuts and shoes that
right.
you were
Nuts
saying.
and shoes, which I think is what people think Applejack is saying. That she's saying
Mhm.
nuts and shoes, but she's saying nuts and chews.
Nuts and choose. Choose. Okay.
But now I'm trying to think. Oh, there's another good Applejack one. Um, I don't know if she got to say this, but I don't know if they changed it.
Okay.
But for corn's sake, CORN apostrophe S, for corn's sake.
Okay.
It's like for Pete's sake.
Right, right.
And that's it's something that Fred Mertz says. I'm
Okay.
uh, I'm a really big I Love Lucy nerd. Um, but but Fred Mertz would say, "Oh, for corn's sake," and so for me, getting Applejack is my in to speaking my I Love Lucyisms.
Right, right.
Otherwise, I would have to try and think of a Pinkie Pie
Mm,
line. Um, but yeah, the ones that jump out to me are Applejacks.
that's nice. Nuts
Yeah,
shoes. Okay, so now I know it's not horseshoes or a play on horseshoes. It's gotcha. Nuts and chews. Gotcha.
nuts and shoes. It's very random. I
Oh,
appreciate.
those are the best. Yeah, if you say a word that everybody knows, it doesn't make sense. But if you say something like that, they have to, what? What did you say?
Right.
And you've achieved your goal.
Well, and I was trying to figure out whether it had ended up in an episode,
Mm,
and so I did a search on my computer to see if I'd put nuts and chews in there,
okay.
and I found it in my script,
Mhm.
and then I said, okay, well, if it made it into the, just because it's in my script doesn't mean that she said it in the episode. So then I did a Google search and I put nuts and chews, and nuts and shoes came up
Oh.
because I think it was on a YouTube clip, and somebody I put Applejack nuts and shoes,
Mhm.
and I put Applejack nuts and shoes, and everybody's thinking it's shoes. So um, yeah, it's always funny to
You
uh,
have created your own version of the Louie Louie song. Nobody knows exactly what she's saying, so they make up their own words.
exactly. Well, it's fun to watch the episodes um, and sometimes I'll laugh at things and I'll go, "Did I write that?" And then I go back in my script, and sometimes I have, and sometimes I haven't, and that's just kind of the way it goes
Sure.
because things get changed. Rob Renzetti was the story editor
Right.
for seasons 1 and 2, and so he would end up adjusting things and write his own funny things. And
Sure, sure.
oh, wow, that's funny. Oh, Rob wrote that.
Now, I know a question that's been asked to some of the panels. Some people have said, have there been any lines or scenes that have been cut that
hmm
you remember? But I don't know. This is somewhat related, but has there been any line or scene that you thought of after the fact? Like you turned your script in and you're like, oh, I should have said that.
Hmm. Gosh, not that I'm thinking of. I mean, it's so hard because you have to realize I wrote these at this
Oh,
point
yeah, yeah, yeah.
a
I'm sure. I'm sorry.
long time ago. So yeah,
Well, and I think honestly, with that question, unless it's very specific to the situation, if it's a
mhm.
good joke, just put it in the next episode, right?
Right. Yeah. Anytime I have to cut things, like I'll write just kind of funny stuff,
Hmm.
and um, and I realize, okay, I'm going to go over my page count, and I have to go through and start cutting things.
Right.
I'll cut what's called the dead wood,
Mm.
the things that don't further the plot, and it's only there because you think it's funny,
Okay.
but since it's not motivating the action, you just go, okay, I got to cut this out. I always have a separate document open where I paste those things because
Uh,
I don't want to lose them
right.
because it's comedy gold.
Yeah.
And so I put that in there in case, at some point I could plop it back into another script
Yeah. Yeah.
and then, just see how that goes. Um,
Sure. Waste not, want not. That makes absolute sense.
yeah. um, no, I mean, pretty much I would have to look and see what my little extra, I could do that. I could look through my files and see extra stuff because I generally had little things that had.
I'm just saying you should save those and just at some point, quote unquote, leak them or
Uh-huh.
part of them to an eBay source and just see how much funding you can get.
Well, yeah. No, I should do that. Um, that would be a wise money maker.
Yeah, you could. It might provide a nice little nest egg at this point, I think.
I'm skimming really quick to see if I haven't. Oh well, um, Sweetie Belle and Scootaloo had a rap in
Oh,
Cutie Box that I had to cut.
oh,
And
oh,
I thought it was cute, but it got cut after the first draft. Like later, get rid of
yeah,
that's not something I cut out of. uh I wanted it to stay there, but
sure.
other people didn't, so it moved along.
Uh,
It's fine.
well, I
uh,
would imagine that if you're writing an episode, if a song is crucial, of course it's going to stay. But
right.
I would guess, those are, I mean, they take up a lot of time. So,
Yeah, I mean, it was a very quick wrap. It
okay.
wasn't, it didn't take it wasn't a lot of lines. Where is it?
That's okay. No pressure on that one. But
It's when it's right before she's going into the Everfree Forest.
okay.
And so they're trying to cheer her up as Apple
Ah, okay.
towards the Everfree Forest. Um and so they start rapping at her, which I understand didn't necessarily make any sense, but I thought it was hilarious.
That
Um,
yeah, that honestly that would have been. I know there's quite a few Scootaloo fans who have been upset that her only song has been the warped Cutie Mark Crusaders theme song, and they would have
oh my,
loved to hear her really shout something out. Oh, that would have been cool.
okay, found it.
Oh,
Okay,
we have found it. Okay, so this is the Scootaloo Sweetie Belle rap.
it's the rap song. Okay, so Sweetie Belle starts it, and um, I'm not going to be able to do both voices, obviously.
Of course.
So I'm just singing it as if it's one.
Okay.
Okay, and hopefully I'll remember it. Let's see. Um, apple bloom, you know what they say. If you do not watch out, your face will freeze that way. I'm sorry, I feel really silly. Oh yeah, apple bloom girl, you best pick up that lower lip. Otherwise, that droopy lip is gonna make you trip. Apple bloom, apple bloom. We want to see your smiling face instead of doom and gloom. Apple bloom, apple bloom. Stop all of this sad moping and cheer up soon. And then Scootaloo said, "Word." That's
That was brilliant.
Thank you.
That was amazing.
You can probably tell why it was cut now.
I would have loved it. I could see why you fought for it.
Yeah, it was. Oh well, that happens. But yeah, that's there you go. That's what got cut.
So, guys, if she comes to other cons, now you know which songs to bug her about, including the rap.
Yeah, maybe I'll do a better version of it then.
Oh no, no, I don't. I like the unpolished version of raps, quite frankly.
You can tell I'm not a rapper.
Well, neither are Sweetie Belle and Scootaloo, so
That is very true.
it works.
Yeah, as we've seen from their singing skills
Hmm.
previously, it wasn't so hot.
Well, everybody, today I have been talking with Amy Keating Rogers, very prolific writer amongst MLP and other things. And everybody, please go check out her Kickstarter. Jason Bateman Thinks I'm Dead. It's the link is going to be right underneath the video. Please go check it out. Donate what you can. We would really like to see this thing get funded.
Yes, please. Thank you very, 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 very much.
See, there you go. You got 8 varies right there, and you can't beat that. Thank you very much for talking with us today.
You're welcome. It was fun. Thank you.
Yes. All right, everybody. This has been OsakaJack with Into the Spotlight. We'll catch you next time.